We've got some breaking news right now. There is a Honolulu Department of Emergency Management in Hawaii now calling for the evacuation of coastal areas for after an earthquake in Russia. Says destructive tsunami waves are expected after a magnitude 8 earthquake near Kamchatka a few minutes ago. The entire North Pacific apparently is now vibrating. You can see some of this information that was now coming in. Japan issuing a tsunami warning and evacuation order for coastal regions. Japanese Meteorological Agency. We have this weather unfiltered. A tsunami warning is now in effect for Hawaii as the first possible waves could reach the island just after 7 p.m. Hawaii time. The entire West Coast is now under a tsunami warning. This is from the Weather Channel. We have some video that have now come in from Russia. Video showing the shaking from the magnitude 8.7 earthquake that just hit off the coast. Take a look.
Господи, боже мой! Стой, Господи, боже мой! Когда успокоится все, Господи! Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой! Васечка мой маленький, Васечка! Сейчас пойдем, подожди.
You can hear the alarms going off. Multiple videos now showing.
А у нас землетрясение.
Here's more. We have all this breaking video just surfacing moments ago. This footage coming in from Russia moments ago. Active tsunami warning is in effect. The entire West Coast under tsunami watch. Prepare to evacuate. Massive 8.7 earthquake just struck near Kamchatka. Entire West Coast under tsunami watch as waves could hit within hours. Estimated wave arrival times for the Pacific time. Port Angeles, Astoria, 11:40 p.m. Gold Beach, Eureka, 11:40. San Francisco, 12:40 a.m. and Malibu, San Diego, 1:05 a.m. Alaska already under warning. Japan expecting 10-foot waves. So if you're anywhere near the coast, stay alert, prepare to evacuate, and get away from beaches and harbors immediately. This is serious news. Now, they just upgraded the Russia earthquake to 8.7 tsunami waves as high as 3 to 4 meters being reported. Hawaii, Japan, California, all in the potential path. So get to higher ground immediately. LA coastline now included in the tsunami watch, according to Los Angeles alerts. This is just 60 minutes ago. Here we have some video that has just surfaced 32 minutes ago. Tsunami waves from the 8.7 magnitude have begun slamming Russia. Buildings already being swept away. Tsunami waves are also heading to Hawaii. Oh my goodness. So this is all breaking news. It's just happening right now. So if you're on the West Coast, go to higher ground. If you're in any of those locations that I just mentioned, all of Hawaii under a tsunami warning imminent. A tsunami has been generated that could cause damage along coastlines of all islands in the state of Hawaii. Urgent action should be taken to protect lives and property. Here is the tsunami warning issued for the state of Hawaii, effective at 02:43 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. It occurred with the preliminary parameters at 1:25 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, coordinates 52.2 north, 160.0 east, location off the coast, east coast of Russia. So this is all happening. If you're in those areas, here's Raw's alerts. The active and current alerts following the significant magnitude it struck off the eastern coast of Russia. In response, Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has issued numerous warnings, watches, and advisories. Magnitude 8.7, which is an enormous, enormous earthquake. Here's more. No, this is not. That's more. That's someone posting some disinformation. Here's the Pacific Tsunami Warning that we just put out there. This is for preliminary magnitude 8.7 off the coast. Based on all available data, hazardous tsunami waves are forecast for some coasts. Tsunami threat forecast updated. So make sure if you are in any of these affected areas, especially in Hawaii right now, and it appears that it's going to hit the coast of the United States, the West Coast, Port Los Angeles, Astoria, at these listed times. So you have fair warning right now. So make sure that you get to higher ground immediately. This is not a drill. This is serious news. So make sure you take extra precaution. We're bringing this to you live right now. And say a prayer for everybody affected, and we'll keep you updated. Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and we are going live to millions worldwide on YouTube, plus our freedom fighters on Rumble and X. And what sets us apart from the corporate media, we don't just talk at you, we talk with you. Your reactions, your comments, and your thoughts on today's explosive news. That's what makes this show special. So right now, text the stream to your friends. Bypass Big Tech's algorithm. If you're watching on X, repost this to your followers. Let's break their censorship walls together. And listen up. We'll be featuring your Super Chats and Rumble rants on screen for the world to see between segments. And send them in right now, even before we dive into today's bombshells. And speaking of bombshells, let me take you back to this day, July 29th, 1958. In this day in history, President Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act. Why? Well, he created NASA because America was in a race against Soviet communism for technological supremacy. Fast forward to today, July 29th, 2025. We're in another battle for supremacy, but this time it's against the deep state's lies, the globalist trade surrender, and a woke culture that's reached levels of insanity our founding fathers could have never imagined. Now, today's show exposes it all. Obama's failed coup attempt against Trump, with evidence so damning even his media accomplices can't spin it. Ghislaine Maxwell ready to blow the lid off the elite pedophile network if Congress grants her immunity. President Trump's trade deal that just extracted $1.35 trillion from the EU while bringing manufacturing jobs home and swinging big at his new golf club. And a New York City shooting where CNN literally lied about the shooter's race to push their narrative, and Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad that somehow triggered a mental health crisis among liberals who think that blonde hair is somehow fascism. Now, if you want to support the fight for truth privately, hit those donation links in the description. We're 100% viewer funded. No corporate overlords, no pharma money, no deep state handlers, just you and me against the machine. And you know what else fights the machine? Looking good while doing it. Check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got alligator Alcatraz shirts that'll trigger your liberal neighbors, President Auto Pen designs that celebrate real leadership, and our American Badass series that says what we're all thinking. The links are in the description. Wear your favorite news source with pride. Now listen, you need to follow us on all platforms. YouTube's great, but they could pull the plug at any moment. So get on Rumble, get on X, because when they come for one platform, you'll still find us on the others. That's not paranoia. That is called preparation. And if you want to go even deeper, you can join our YouTube channel memberships. Each level unlocks exclusive perks, special acknowledgement in the chat, where everyone sees you are a supporter, exclusive access to the Next News team, behind-the-scenes uploads that you won't see anywhere else, and our members-only Discord running 24/7. So while the mainstream media builds paywalls, we're building a community. Now, the corporate press is collapsing because they forgot something simple. You can't lie to people forever. When Obama's coup documents surface, when Maxwell's ready to name names, when Trump brings home $1 trillion while CNN lies about a shooter's skin color, and when normal Americans buy out jeans because liberals call them racist, that's not news, that's a revolution. So buckle up, share the stream, get your comments ready, and remember, they hate us because we're effective. They fear us because we're growing, and they're panicking because we're winning. This is the Raw Feed, where the news meets the truth, and truth meets action. So let's expose what they're hiding, celebrate what they're destroying, and build what they fear most. An informed, activated American patriot movement that can't be stopped. So let's get right into it and welcome you to the show. We got Deb Noble, Pothead Kenny, the one and only Ron the Don, Chino Jr., Vita Vegan. We got our Boyd, Tony Capone, Papa Renegade, Sabrina, Leah, Eric Boyers. We got Kibbs Ellis. Jerome is here. We've got James Fay, Patricia Duff. We've got PJCCG. We got, who else is in the house? We got Jose and Scott, Selena. We've got Texas Dalton. We've got Lori Godfrey, Michael Jones. Who else is here? This is your time to shine, folks. So sound off in the comments right now. Sharon says the best reporting. Thank you so much. We got Tim O, Gen X. Let's see. We've got Texas Dalton, Pedro Miraz. We've got Dinah to Die. Good to see you. We got R. Boyd, Matt Beam. Someone else is here. We've got Sabrina. Who else is in the house? We got JT is here. Steve Turk, Fran Scott, Sheila77. We've got Tamara Barger. We got Indy J16. We've got Michael Jones. The gang is all here. Michael Verasso, Jeanette Johnson, Robert Lockhart, Rick Shelton. I hope I'm getting everyone. Dr. Insomnia. Whoa. We got Sheila77. The gang is here. Sure You's here. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. Sharon Stein. Threads of Hera. We got Bear is in the house. Tina. Texas Stone. Gorian Lady. Dorothy Wenzel. El Mayate. Curtis Brown. Justin Butler. Mary Crabtree. Everyone is in the house. Submissive Mrs. Kisper. Trust the Father. Trust Jesus. Amen. Smoochy Smoochy sounding off. James Ellie, Brad McKay, Robert Lockhart, all I Drop Sounds is in the house. Nicole, the gang's all here. All right, let's get into our, what? Am I hearing something here? Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you for letting me know. who is dropping super chats already. Thank you. We got El Shingon. I remember you. $20. Thank you, sir. We're going to keep monitoring this tsunami throughout the night, so stay tuned as we continue to track that. And Todd, if you see anything, you can put it in that breaking folder that we created. And any new stuff will just go to the top, and we'll try to cover that maybe between segments just to make sure everybody's safe and aware of what is happening. Okay, now we're going to go to our trivia question of the evening for our first segment. Which CIA director previously lied to Congress about NSA surveillance before Russiagate? Was it A, John Brennan, B, James Clapper, C, Michael Hayden, or D, George Tenet? Previously lied to Congress about NSA surveillance before. I'm going to say Michael Hayden, maybe. If it was before Russiagate. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with C. I could be wrong. We'll find out after this segment. They thought they buried the evidence. They thought we'd never find out. But someone just leaked the smoking gun that proves Barack Obama didn't just know about the Russia hoax, he ordered it. Intelligence officials are scrambling, the media is in damage control, and John Brennan is about to learn what karma really means. We've got the memos, we've got the orders, and we've got them dead to rights. This wasn't opposition research or dirty politics. This was the former president of the United States orchestrating a coup against his successor. The deep state's worst nightmare just came true. The paper trail survived. Keep watching. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risk onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and it's smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com right now to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins free. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone. You can call the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Now, let's jump right into this because remember, we reported on this. Remember Peter Strzok? He was central to the Russiagate scam. His text messages with Lisa Page leaked out, basically revealing the whole plan between these two lovers at the FBI. Well, we reported just recently that he had deleted his entire X account, all the posts going back years and years and years. And now we are finding out just a few moments ago that he actually didn't, it wasn't just the tweets. We're finding out that all of his tweets vanished from the Internet Archive as well. Like, I don't know how you go about doing that, deleting it from the Internet Archive. You know, you and I, we can go to our X account, we can simply delete posts, right? You can go back, prune, delete. But how does one delete something from the Internet Archive? If you ever want to find out, like, what an old web page looked like or find out a news story that you can't find anymore, and you know the URL, you maybe have it, it's dead, but it doesn't exist anymore, you can go to the Internet Archive and you can find it. Well, looks like he deleted it from the Internet Archive, which signals to me that he had to make some pretty big moves to make that happen. Now, we're finding out this. President Trump has again amplified Tulsi Gabbard calling to prosecute Obama's cronies over Russiagate. The boss is making himself pretty clear. Arrests must happen. It is the worst. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump. That is what Donald Trump posted just a couple days ago, and he attached this bombshell from Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes. Next week, we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again. No question in my mind that
want this to ever happen in our free country. President Trump posted a few days ago, driving the point home that arrests must be made. Earlier this week, explosive revelations confirmed what we've known all along. Obama, Hillary, and their staff abused their intelligence community to launch the Russiagate hoax and sabotage Trump. It was calculated and unprecedented treason.
I mean, this screams perjury. I think James Comey also committed perjury because he's the one that knew exactly what was going on. He went to Trump Tower to talk to President Trump and knew all of this. He knew that this was not true. And now the statements are there to verify it. And look, I think these people need to be exposed for lying and continuing to go online and do this repeatedly as actually newscasters and to really, undermine the administration and outright lie about the administration. And there's sections of federal law that violate this. I remember when I was a freshman congresswoman in 2018, I actually teamed up with our now governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and others, and did a criminal referral to the attorney general at the time, pointing out many of these things. And now we have the evidence, and now we have it. And I think on Jonathan Turley's point about the statute of limitations, I think there's continually cover-up of this that may actually bring the statute into play where it's now we have more time to actually pursue these. And I think President Trump is right. The American people...
So they can't run out the clock because they continue the cover-up. Tulsi Gabbard calls out the mainstream media's handling of the newly declassified documents in the Russiagate scandal, accusing them of not dealing with the truth that has been revealed.
Papers, Washington. It's been interesting to see how the mainstream media has either refused to cover this story at all. The headlines or the lack thereof of newspapers, Washington Post, New York Times, and others in the days following this release have actually been quite deafening in their lack of coverage. And it's interesting to see how when they do cover this, they don't actually cover the revelations that these intelligence reports and the evidence that we released actually conveys to the American people. They simply talk about their criticisms of it or convey Democrat politicians' criticisms of it, but none of them actually dealing with the truth that has been revealed. It's been interesting to see
Tulsi
how the
Gabbard,
mainstream...
one of President Trump's greatest picks. Just a couple hours ago, we have this from Mike Benz on Real America's Voice. Life is long and things catch back up to you. And I think John Brennan, hard to think of a more deserving candidate for experiencing the things he wished on others. Wow, listen.
What is your best guess, since you know this and know the process, of when do you think we start really moving out on that? Is it a couple of weeks? Is it before Labor Day? Is it the fall? Is it the end of the year? Is this into next year? As you're sitting here today, what do you think your best assessment is?
Well, if it's going to happen, it will have to happen somewhat quickly. The statute of limitations is a kind of ticking time bomb here in several respects. Charges like perjury or obstruction of justice are typically a 5-year statute of limitations. I understand that the way this has been pitched for criminal referral by Tulsi Gabbard to the Justice Department has been around conspiracy, in which case I think you're looking at something more like a 10-year statute of limitations. But even in that case, in 10 years, you're talking about operations that basically were 2016 to 2019 for the most part. So you're going to need to move quickly, even within that 10-year statute of limitations, in terms of starting that process. But naturally, these things are going to be very, very close hold by the Justice Department for any number of reasons, ranging from the legal to the strategic. But the fact is I do think that we'd be well as a body electorate to focus in on the specific actionable claims that could be made by the Justice Department, in particular around folks like John Brennan, who appeared to have foreknowledge according to his August 3rd handwritten notes, August 3rd, 2016, when he said that Hillary Clinton had approved a plan to frame Donald Trump for being a Russian asset, essentially. I think it was to stir up a scandal that alleging Russian interference to favor the Trump campaign. That was known ahead of time by John Brennan, the CIA director, which is also quite curious. That plan was approved by Hillary Clinton just 5 days earlier. She was then the former Secretary of State. The CIA chief Was he spying on Hillary Clinton's campaign to know that, or did a little birdie tell him? How did he know that to even brief the president? And then he goes back and runs the intelligence assessment that effectively starts this whole ball rolling while he's running the spies in Trump's campaign. So I do think that there could be, there could be issues around, the political sensitivities, I suppose, around certain figures in that cabal. But the John Brennan one just seems so clean. And this was the same clean person shot. Who publicly accused Trump of treason and said that Trump would die in prison. Life is long and things catch back up to you. And I think John Brennan is hard to think of a more deserving candidate for experiencing the things he wished on others.
Yeah, and the chickens are coming home to roost, as they say. Here we have Victor Davis Hanson. New evidence, new information on Obama Russiagate setup surfaces. New findings suggest Barack Obama may have personally asked top intelligence officials to fabricate evidence meant to further the Trump-Russia collusion hoax during the final weeks of his presidency. This just in 24 hours ago.
Campaign. There's new evidence that Barack Obama asked intelligence and investigatory heads like John Brennan, the former CIA director, James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, and James Comey, the former FBI director, to find me evidence that you haven't found yet so that we can continue the Russian collusion hoax after it was ineffective in the campaign. You go back, we only have a few weeks left, I'm a lame duck president, and bring me the right assessments. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they're terrified that new information is coming forth that suggests to the American people what they did and how they were culpable.
Oh, yeah. It is game freaking on, baby. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. And of course, as you know, the media were co-conspirators in Obama's Russiagate treason. Never let them forget it. Watch this.
Election. Russia hacking the election to elect Trump is the end of our democracy. Votes were definitely affected. Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
No doubt. The Russians hacked the election.
Yes. Russia hacked the election.
Fact, Russia hacked the election.
President-elect Donald Trump still not sounding convinced that Russia hacked the election.
The president does not want to come to terms with the fact that the Russians hacked the election.
President Trump says he still wonders if the Russians hacked the election.
If you can get him to accept that Russia hacked the election, see if you can get him to accept who won the Civil War.
If he admits it, it casts a shadow on his victory over Hillary Clinton.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Let's be clear, Russia hacked the election. Definitively, Russia hacked the election, and Russia is doing it again now.
Election related.
Look at that. That's a beautiful montage of every moment the media continued to drive that into the minds of their viewers over and over again, doing irreparable damage to President Trump. But you know what? He rose above it all. He knew the whole time that this was going on. And now we actually have the documentation, thanks to Tulsi Gabbard as DNI. Everything's coming out. And the crooks are freaking out, like this guy here, Peter Strzok. Who will ever forget that face he made when he had to testify about his leaked text messages to his lover? FBI Russiagate hoaxer Peter Strzok deletes social media posts. And now we have this just 6 hours ago. Listen to this legal and constitutional analysis of the implication of Barack Obama in the Russia hoax. Christy Ann Hall. Listen.
Wow. Joining us now is constitutional attorney, Victory News contributor Chris Ann Hall. Chris Ann, welcome. I want you to listen to Intel Director Tulsi Gabbard, bombshell remarks when a reporter asked if former President Barack Obama was directly implicated. Here she is.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
All right, Chris, and Obama allegedly leading the Russian conspiracy hoax that intelligence staffers, Democrats, and the media repeated time after time after time, and there's no truth in it. All right, so here's the big question. Is anyone going to be held responsible for this, including Obama, or is he benefiting from immunity?
Yeah, what a tangled web we weave. But presidential immunity isn't a shield for political manipulation. It only applies to constitutional actions, enumerated powers, not to efforts to undermine or deceive the nation. Sorry. If it's determined that Barack Obama's actions warrant prosecution and we choose not to act, that in itself is also a crisis. So if someone with that level of power is shielded from prosecution simply because of who they are or what people fear might happen, then justice is no longer blind. It's been bought, bullied, and broken.
Oh, wow. Joining us now.
It's great to see Chris Ann. I interviewed her back in 2013 when I was on television broadcasting to millions in South Florida. So it's great to see her again. We've got this also. President Trump, just 7 hours ago, talking about Obama orchestrating the Russia collusion hoax that attempted to bring down his election victory. Listen to this.
What they've done is so bad for this country. And it really started right at the 2016 election. And there's a difference when you know it and when you know it and it's all written down for you. I mean, it's all there. It's right there. The orders, the memos, the whole thing is right there.
Were you surprised when you saw it all laid out?
I would have thought they maybe would have thrown it out. I don't know. They handed it. They say, put this in highly classified. It was in highly classified, in areas that normally you wouldn't get to. But I guess when you put it in there, it's a file, right? And they got to it. And it's unbelievable. When you read it, it's unbelievable. A real hoax, it's a real hoax. If they would devote their time to winning elections or if they devote their time to greatness, making America great again, it would be because there's a certain genius to it, but it's also sick. I mean, they're sick. And you look at Hillary Clinton, you look at all of the terrible things with the Steele dossier, and you know it better. Nobody's covered it better than you, to be honest with you. I mean, you're sitting here so innocently talking to me like, I said, it's wonderful. You know the story better than I do. But it's incredible. It's all there now. It's in writing. And Tulsi's done a great job. There were some people that really wanted Tulsi. They thought she was going to do a fantastic job. And when you look, a lot of people would not have found it. They wouldn't have found it to be politically correct to find it. Okay. It would be easier not to.
And she's tough.
And she's tough and she's smart. And she did. She went deep into the files and she found it. And what it says is just terrible. And look, this was an attempted coup. It was a failed coup. Wow. I mean, here we are, talking as president of the United States. So you almost say, how did it happen? What they've done.
You just heard the sitting president of the United States declare that they attempted a coup on him, and it failed. And now he has the documents in hand to prove it, to indict every single one of them, going all the way to the very top, Barack Obama. The historical implications here cannot be understated. What we are witnessing right now, what we are living through. Here's President Trump discussing Hillary Clinton and the deep state actors who orchestrated the Russia hoax. Listen to this.
Very big number. Yeah. So, we had Hillary Clinton down to whatever we wanted to do with her. And I felt it was inappropriate. She's the wife of a president. She was a Secretary of State. And we could have done a very big number.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't want to be doing that. Let's, put it into the country and not the concept of putting her in jail, indicting her, all the things that you have to do. It's tough stuff. And I said, we don't want to do that. In fact, you remember I made speeches when I mentioned her name. They started lock her up. Yeah. And I said, no, this is after we won. We just won. And I said,
you wanted the country
we have to get back to, we want to heal. And yet they did it to me.
Yeah.
So I feel differently. I mean, I'm a human being. I have my feelings too. And so I feel differently about it. Obama, what he did was terrible. What Brennan did and Clapper and Comey and all these lightweights, they're stupid people actually. But what they did, and so unnecessary. And they made it really hard. But ultimately, I don't know, they toughen you up. You either learn that you can do that. How many people could handle that?
Yeah.
I've had so many people said, how did you handle that every day? And they come up with these different scams. They're all scams, and they're still doing it. They're doing it now.
Yeah.
So, we had Hillary Clinton down to whatever we wanted to do with her, and I felt it was inappropriate. She's the wife.
President Trump back then, remember we were all chanting, lock her up, right? President Trump decided, for the good of the country, it was not healthy to go ahead and pursue Hillary Clinton. I mean, he had the evidence. I'll never forget that moment during the debate when he said, "Oh, because you'd be in jail," right? Well, now it's time. It is time for payback against all of these criminals who indicted President Trump multiple times. They took shots at him. And I'm going to go as far as to say that this Russiagate hoax that began under Barack Obama extended all the way to that moment in Butler. The same actors who were controlling the deep state, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, all of them, right up to Barack Obama himself, that was their final attempt to stop Donald Trump. And God saved him on that day for such a time as this. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. This is not over yet. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this changes everything. We're not talking about political games anymore. We're talking about high treason at the highest levels of government. Obama, Brennan, Clapper, Rice, they fabricated evidence to destroy a duly elected president. They weaponized our intelligence agencies against the American people, and they did it believing they'd never get caught. But the truth has a funny way of surfacing. And these documents prove what we have known all along. The Russia hoax was a criminal conspiracy orchestrated directly from Obama's Oval Office. The media was complicit, the FBI was compromised, and our republic itself was under assault from within. So here's my question for you. Should Barack Obama face criminal charges for orchestrating this coup? Simple yes or no. Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. It's linked down below. Wear your truth on your sleeve and trigger a liberal today by visiting shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and support the Next News Network. Wow. Okay. Want to check in on some things here. Do we have any updates on the... Let's see if there's anything new. Nothing new to report as of yet. Let me see if I can find anything from the feeds coming in. Okay, tsunami alert issued for the entire West Coast. This is Sean Hannity reporting right now, just a few moments ago.
Tsunami. All right, this is a Fox News alert. A massive 8.7 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Russia has now issued tsunami advisories and watches, including Japan, Hawaii, the entire west coast of the U.S. This could be one of the top 10 earthquakes ever recorded. Joining us now from Fox Weather is Steve Bender is with us. Steve, 8.7, that puts it in the top 10. That means these tsunami warnings and advisories are very real.
Sean, this is massive. And you had just mentioned Japan's impacted by this. The U.S. Embassy in Tokyo has already been told evacuate and get to higher ground. And this was just off the coast of Russia, as you had mentioned, only 8 miles from the coast of Kamchatka, Russia. And so we've already seen on social media the waves that are pushing in towards Russia. For Japan, they're expecting 9-foot waves to impact the islands. As we look at the Aleutian Islands there, south of Alaska and the peninsula, tsunami warnings for the western edge of that because of the proximity proximity to the earthquake. We get down into Hawaii. They are also in a tsunami warning. This has been a confirmed wave that is moving in, likely to make impact just after 7:15 local time. The Oahu Emergency Management said this is what you got to do. You got to get to at least a 10-story building and get to 4 floors or above that. So people are seeking higher ground right now. You look at the west coast of the lower 48. Everyone is under a tsunami watch right now for the Pacific Northwest. Washington and Oregon, arrival time 11:40 p.m. local time for that initial wave. Down towards Northern California, San Francisco, and those areas around the Bay, about 12:30, midnight. That's when you're looking at that potential wave. And then Southern California right after 1 a.m. So when we're looking at this, it is expecting flooding along those coastal areas. You got to gain elevation for spots like California. It is a steep slope, but other areas are vulnerable. Also, I do want to mention, Sean, we have Guam, of course, a massive military base. They are also in this as well with a warning. So major concern, aftershocks just coming in at 6.8 and 6.3. So the magnitudes, even on the aftershocks, are massive. As you had said right off the top, this could be a top 10 strength ever. This is preliminary right now at 8.7, but either...
Okay, so we're going to continue to monitor this. We got a super chat that came through from Inhuman Condition. He says presidential immunity does not apply to treason, but they have to prove in a jury that will convict D.C. commies protect their own. We'll see about that. Okay, we're going to go to our trivia answer. The trivia answer was, in fact, well, you guys got it wrong, so... Is it working today? No sad trumpet. Okay, I'm sorry. Wah, wah, wah. We'll do that later. Yeah, it was James Clapper, actually. There, thanks, Brian. I got it wrong, too. James Clapper, he lied about NSA he lied about NSA mass surveillance, proving deep state deception predates Russiagate. Okay, moving into our next topic. This is the big one that everyone is tracking. Epstein, Trump, everything that's going on with that, especially with Ghislaine Maxwell set to testify on August 11th. So this is huge. Now, the question is, what did Bill Clinton claim he did not have with Monica Lewinsky? Was it A, sexual relations, B, secret meetings, C, phone conversations, or D, blue dress encounters? I think we all know the answer to that one, right? Okay, so I'm going to let you guys answer in the poll, the chat, and the comments, and we're going to move into our Epstein coverage that is ongoing. The most dangerous woman in America just made Congress an offer they can't refuse. Ghislaine Maxwell says she'll talk, but only if they guarantee full immunity. So think about what that means. Think about who's panicking right now. Manhattan penthouses, D.C. mansions, Silicon Valley compounds, the Hollywood elite. Yeah, powerful men are deleting files, burning documents, and calling their lawyers. And she knows where the bodies are buried and who visited that island and what's on those tapes. MSNBC admits that she can't refuse a congressional subpoena. Her only option is the Fifth Amendment unless she gets that golden ticket. The establishment's darkest secrets are about to spill, and there's nowhere left to hide. So stay tuned. And while the elite panic about what Maxwell might reveal, they're probably feeling their blood pressure spike. The American healthcare system is broken, and Big Pharma won't help them now. That's why I research natural solutions like improving blood flow. More oxygen to your brain helps you think clearly about these revelations. I use Blood Flow 7 from Juvenon. It boosts nitric oxide levels 230% and opens arteries up to 62%. One dose daily has improved my stamina, energy, and focus, all without stimulants. Doctor formulated with natural ingredients. Visit bloodflow7.com/NNN or simply click below to learn more. Now, President Trump returning from Europe on Air Force One, making headlines with this statement, talking about the workers that were at his Mar-a-Lago club in West Palm Beach, asking about Jeffrey Epstein recruiting his help and his staff. Listen.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken
some of them.
Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women. What did they do?
In the spa.
Jobs in the spa.
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people, yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Now, I was told that President Trump had to cut his entire trip, cut it short. There was an entire meet and greet that was scheduled. President Trump was going to go and meet the golfers at his club, but he had to return home emergency, cut everything short, got on Air Force One, and jetted back to Washington, D.C. And I was told that he had to stop another war, right? That's what he had to stop. Supposedly, we're going to try to find out more information on what triggered his emergency departure from Scotland. However, this occurring on Air Force One as he was leaving. And then we have this. This is 6 hours ago. Dropkick Murphys playing a stunning montage of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein at their concert. Can you believe that? Democrat Wins Media posting this. How shameful. And look what they're putting on the screen here. All these people in this concert screaming and chanting and the band just going nuts, calling him a first-class loser, showcasing pictures and video of Epstein that we've all seen over and over again. Nothing new here. So it's shocking, though. But I want to make something clear about what President Trump said about the young girls who were working in the spa. Now, we know that Jeffrey Epstein, one of his actions was to have these women perform massages, and then, of course, it would lead to other things. Now, of course, that's where he would try to recruit these people from Mar-a-Lago, Trump getting pissed off. Now, according to Florida law, it does allow 16-year-olds to work without restrictions on hours. Mar-a-Lago legally employed teens for hospitality roles, same as every golf resort in the state. The real scandal isn't Trump hiring a 16-year-old, it's Epstein trafficking her afterward. And that's according to Gab AI posting that. Now, we played a clip of this, but this young man, Adam Mockler, had a take. Author Michael Wolff says Epstein showed him photos of Trump with topless girls on his lap. Epstein is dead. Now Ghislaine Maxwell is using her knowledge of those secrets to demand clemency. So this is the claim being made by Michael Wolff. And this could also, if it's in fact true, which I don't believe that it is, maybe he's just trying to sell books. But if the Democrats are running on this guy's account, maybe that's why they want to see these Epstein files released, because they believe whatever Michael Wolff says is true. So take what he says here with a grain of salt.
The secret. And it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house. There are two in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a third in which he has a stain on the front of his pants.
Michael Wolff interviewed Jeffrey Epstein repeatedly after Epstein and Trump had fallen out. Epstein no longer likes Trump, so he begins to show all of this incriminating evidence that he has. Then Epstein goes to jail. He mysteriously dies under Trump. But now, Ghislaine Maxwell, who holds all of the leverage, she's like the secret key. She's like the master key to all of this. She's the one who knows about these photos, knows about all of this, and now she's using her leverage to try to get one over on the Trump administration. What they're doing is dangling the potential of cooperation, saying, listen, I may cooperate and tell you what you want, or I may be silent, depending on how much you give me leeway. So if Trump softens his stance on her, pushes for clemency, then she'll dangle that cooperation and give it. But right now, she knows that her value lies in her knowledge of the past and the secrets that she clutches. These secrets that implicate powerful people, the secrets that we are learning about right here.
And it was Trump.
And if those secrets that Michael Wolff is actually claiming are true. CNN just conveniently edited out this from Trump saying Bill Clinton went to Epstein Island 28 times. Check this out. Watch this edited version.
The island, and by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard, and many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
President Trump says he never visited Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Listen.
I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. And by the way, I never went to the island.
You see that? Completely editing out any mention of Bill Clinton. CNN still running cover for the Democrats even now. And now we have this from Reed Galen admitting the media frenzy over Epstein is catnip and says Trump is caught in a flywheel of nonstop coverage. Even his critics admit this doesn't end until he ends it because the media can't help but fixate on Trump. Listen to this.
It's corrosive. And Reed, I played a little bit of Joe Rogan just now. By one count, Epstein's name was mentioned more than 40 times just on yesterday's episode. He's, I'm pretty sure, the #1 podcaster in America. That said, the president is still out there. He's making trade deals. He's talking to foreign leaders. We've seen that over the last several days. Is there this corrosive effect on his presidency? I don't know. Is it that not what people want from him, or is doing that never going to satisfy folks unless he gets this Epstein thing behind him?
Well, I think there's a couple of things, Chris. One is that with Rogan, the fascinating piece about Joe Rogan is I have more friends who are not Joe Rogan fans who are now tuning in to Joe Rogan to see what he's going to say about this. So good on Joe. I think the second part about what Rogan says, though, is exactly what has been so foundational to MAGA and to Trump's presidency, which is he was going to be the one that was going to dismantle the deep state. He was going to be the one who took all these people out, who took all these predators out, who took all these traffickers out, and finally held them to account. It was foundational, almost religious. And in fact, some ways it was religious for the MAGA base. And then for Democrats, they should see an opportunity. Not that Donald Trump is going to leave office. I don't think he is. But they can keep their base fired up. They can keep Democrats from saying, you know what? We need to do something. This isn't policy. Fine. Say it over and over and over again. Republicans, the biggest threat to Trump is that Republican voters just stay home, right? They're not likely to switch to Democrats. And then let me just add the fourth estate in here, Chris. This is a very quiet time of year for y'all, right? Like, this is catnip. This is catnip for y'all, for your viewers, for everybody who's like, well, I didn't really have anything else to do anyway. And now these people lie as they breathe, they lie, they breathe. It never stops. And so Trump has finally been caught in his own flywheel. And I think that this is one of those where it won't stop until he can stop. And I don't know that he can because he just can't help but react. And he has to find some way. And remember, he doesn't know what he's going to say 5 seconds before he says it. So there's always going to be a new story.
Well, here's my take on this. Okay, he says Trump can't stop. Trump can't stop talking about it. Okay, we've seen the press conferences. We've seen the media continually ask questions of the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. I mean, we just saw they asked him while he was in Europe. Okay, in front of world leaders, they're asking him these questions. So the media is continually driving the narrative. But the truth is, it's still a big story, especially that we now know that Comer is going to go down to Florida and visit Maxwell in prison, and she is going to be deposed on August 11th. That's what's happening. And just a couple days ago, the DOJ, with Pam Bondi at the head, yes, I know how you feel. But the DOJ, with Pam Bondi at the head, they talked to her for 2 straight days. And she dropped over 100 names during that conversation. Now, it's yet to be known what she's going to say to Comer's committee when they go and depose her. Or what about other people? Are other people going to come forward? Other people that are connected to this? That may have a missing piece of the puzzle? I mean, this conspiracy, this trafficking conspiracy that revolves around Epstein and Maxwell, there's a lot of people involved. So this is all happening, but the media is continuing to drive the narrative. Let's continue here. We have more. Okay, so here is MSNBC's Lisa Rubin says Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't have the right to refuse a congressional subpoena. The only option, invoke the fifth. If they want to push it, she has to comply. Listen.
Yeah, the in public clemency. We're happy to come before you.
So that's the key. They lay out these different things that they want. In the alternative, if Ms. Maxwell were to receive clemency, she would be willing and eager to testify openly, honestly, in public before Congress in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, the in public part is interesting because usually there's always a dress rehearsal before somebody comes before a congressional committee, meaning they will oftentimes give a deposition to staff so that folks are aware of what they will say before they're given a public hearing. But of course, this is really saying the quiet part out loud. Yesterday, her lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, saying that her reply to the Supreme Court was not only an appeal to the justices, but an appeal to the president, a subtle reminder of the fact that she would like a pardon or a commutation. Now he's just saying that quiet part straight out loud. If she has clemency, she's willing to do all of the things that you want, including doing it in public, theoretically in a way that could be televised, unlike in a court proceeding as well, Chris.
So this is kind of a Hail Mary.
It is a Hail Mary in the sense that she doesn't have the right to refuse a congressional subpoena. I think the most that she could do is invoke her Fifth Amendment. If they really want to force and push the envelope, she has to comply with it. But of course, she would take the fifth in that instance. But this is them basically saying, here are all the blocks we're going to put up in your place. Or if she gets presidential immunity in some way through a pardon or a commutation, we'd be happy to do everything that you ask of us.
Lisa Rubin, thank you so much. Now to a case.
So, I mean, that's the big question. We're all waiting to find out if immunity, commutation, a pardon could be on the table here just to get her to speak. Just 6 hours ago, Joe Rogan tearing into Epstein's silence as the line in the sand. The podcast host is not buying the FBI and DOJ's case closed memo from early July. He's calling out the Trump administration for it.
And that everybody been.
That's just going to hang around.
This is a line in the sand.
Yeah.
This one's a line in the sand.
Yeah.
Because this is one where there's a lot of stuff about, when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Well, you would have thought that
your phone?
Yeah, that's just going to hang around.
Yeah. And when Joe Rogan starts talking about it, and a lot of people are listening, supposedly an uncensored version of the Little Black Book has been released. It's been around for a while. I've actually seen versions of this. I remember, if you recall, we did we were covering this a couple of weeks ago, and one of the pieces of evidence, I forget the evidence number now, but it included the Little Black Book. It included all these binders that were in the Maxwell case that admitted as evidence. So I've always said, well, then you have the evidence number. Just go ahead and release that. That's what everybody wants to see. That people want to see the names. They want to see justice. Here we have this. This is a Economist YouGov poll, July 25th through July 28th. Jeffrey Epstein, the percentage of who approve or disapprove of the way Donald Trump is handling investigations into Epstein. U.S. adult citizens, it's 21 to 61. So 61 disapprove. On the Democrat side, 90% disapprove. And Republicans, 28% disapprove, while 49% approve of how President Trump is handling this. So overall, U.S. adult citizens, 61%. Here's the chart that goes along with that. Now, this is interesting, too. Ghislaine Maxwell telling a reporter, supposedly, that Epstein had tapes of Trump and Clinton. They write that she can't deny saying this now, whether pardoned, and of course, this person clearly biased, calling him traitor felon 45 or not. This was from the Independent UK. Ghislaine Maxwell telling a reporter Epstein had tapes of Trump. We could dive a little deeper here and see what this is all about. This is from the Independent. Let's see if we can pull up this for you to read along with me. Ghislaine Maxwell told reporter Epstein had tapes of Trump and Clinton. Former financier's partner allegedly revealed existence of secret recordings of former presidents, CBS producer claims. Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly told, look at all these pop-ups. Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly told a journalist that Epstein recorded tapes of Presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, who were former acquaintances of the disgraced sex offender. Maxwell, who awaits trial on charges she assisted Epstein's crimes in the 90s, reportedly told CBS 60 Minutes producer that she would not release tapes of Mr. Trump without those of Mr. Clinton before the 2016 presidential election. Okay, so this, I should point out, this is an article from February of 2021, February 22nd of 2021. That's when this article hit the wires. So that's just keeping that in the back of your mind there, that she claims she has all this. And she could be using all of this as leverage to get that pardon. Ghislaine Maxwell threatened the life of many of the victims. According to their testimonies under oath over decades, survivors of Epstein and Maxwell should be heard first. And here is, just a few days ago, Epstein accuser Maria Farmer on Ghislaine Maxwell. I've never met a more predatory, terrifying human being in my entire life. Listen.
Predator. I've never met a more predatory, terrifying human being in my entire life, and neither had Virginia Giuffre, and neither has Annie or Anushka or many girls like Shantae Davies. There's hundreds of us that were preyed upon by Ghislaine Maxwell. She's a very dangerous person, and she threatened my life on many occasions. I've had to move and be in hiding because of this predatory child predator and just victim predator. So it's completely unacceptable for anyone to call her a victim. The woman is not a victim. She's a victimizer. I've never met.
And that's terrifying to think that she could be granted a pardon. She could be given clemency, a commutation in exchange for her testimony, when women like that are still living in terror of her. And this post here from Ginger K. Chuck Schumer is an expert on sex scandals because he's been involved with many of them. And here is the Hollywood madam, Heidi Fleiss. The photograph says, remember when this girl, Hollywood madam Heidi Fleiss, had this guy's name in a red book as one of her high-paying customers? Never forget. And the picture attached is Chuck Schumer. And then we have this just 6 hours ago coming out. Chuck Schumer, who is married to a Dixie chick oddity that looks like Austin Powers, received thousands in donations from Jeffrey Epstein in 2019. Oh, so now we're learning that Schumer got thousands in dollars in donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys 8 hours ago breaking said she'd agree to a congressional deposition after the Supreme Court adjudicates her case. She requires full immunity to be free from incriminating herself as well. Team Maxwell also said that if Miss Maxwell were to receive clemency, she would be willing and eager to testify openly and honestly in public before Congress in Washington, D.C. She welcomes the opportunity to share the truth and to dispel the many misconceptions and misstatements that have plagued this case from the beginning. Maxwell offers to testify before Congress, but with major conditions, including immunity. The author of this piece, Caitlin Collins, White House correspondent for CNN, who I've worked alongside in multiple instances at the White House. So here is the latest that we have for you from the Epstein case. We're going to continue to track this, bring you the latest as it happens. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So we're witnessing the ultimate prisoner's dilemma. Ghislaine Maxwell holds the keys to the kingdom of corruption. Names, dates, recordings that could topple governments. Congress knows it, she knows it, and every sweating elite from Wall Street to Washington knows it. The fact that she's demanding full immunity tells you everything. She's not protecting herself from parking tickets. She's protecting herself from revealing crimes so massive and so systemic that even speaking about them could destroy her. And Joe Rogan's right. This is a line in the sand moment. The FBI wants it buried, but 61% of Americans smell the cover-up. So here's the question. Do you believe that Maxwell actually has tapes of presidents and princes? Do you think she made copies of them and distributed them so that if there was ever a moment that she needed to say, release the tapes, she could send out a coded message, a dead man switch? Answer yes or no in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation. And remember, our merch shop has design that trigger elites as much as Maxwell's testimony would. So go on over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. And as Mark Dice would say, check them out. There you go, Mark. Love you, man. Love Mark Dice. Okay, we don't have any super chats. I guess I'm really not doing that well tonight. Sorry if I'm letting you guys down. But we do have some comments coming in. Riley Halls, better do it very soon. She's in danger. If it comes from Caitlin Collins of CNN, it's BS. Bella says it stinks. Y'all like this video? I hope you did press like. John Gardner, hi Karen. What size hats? We got all kinds of hats. All kinds of hats. Yes, it stinks, says one and only. Free Spirit, is Maxwell going to Epstein her? Oh, well, of course that question has been raised. All she has is the ability to divide the country even more. You never let us down. Stop it. Thank you. All right. Our Boyd, I'm not going to read that. Jeremy Olson says, no tsunami will ever get me. Do we have any new information on the tsunami? We're going to check in real quick with the latest. 28 minutes ago, the United States Geological Survey has upgraded the quake to an 8.8, tying as the 6th strongest magnitude earthquake on record. So that's huge. An 8.8. The tsunami advisory still in effect, that from Weather Nation. So we're going to continue to track the tsunami. So if you're in any of the affected areas, make sure you seek higher ground and listen to all emergency warnings. It is going to be approaching the West Coast very, very soon. All right, let's get to our trivia answer. And I know you guys got this right. You said A, sexual relations. That was, of course, the answer. I did not have sexual relations. I mean, how many times do we hear that term? Sexual relations, right? Classic Clinton denial that became the most famous lie in political history. Okay, now we're going to go to our next question before our next segment. And it is this. What did Reagan supposedly tell Gorbachev about America's secret alien defense capabilities? A, we have UFOs. B, Space Force is real. C, we'd fight together. Or D, E.T. phones us. All right. Well, what did he tell? Maybe he said we'd fight together. You know, he was trying to build bridges at that time. We'd fight together. I think that's what he would say. We're going to find out after this. Drop your answer in the in the, 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 Chuck Schumer just had a total meltdown on the Senate floor, and that tells you everything. When your enemies are screaming, you know that you've won big. President Trump just pulled off something the globalists said was impossible. He just broke Europe, not with missiles or threats, but with pure negotiating genius. And the numbers are so massive, so unprecedented, that even Trump's critics at the Wall Street Journal are calling it remarkable. We're talking about a financial victory that reshapes the entire world order. America First isn't just a slogan anymore. It's a reality, backed by cold, hard cash. And the details will blow your mind, so don't go anywhere. Yeah, the numbers are so big, even Trump's golf swing is huge. Now, you probably think that your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold, and Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins absolutely free. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone. You can call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when you call, tell Colin that I said hello. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. President Trump, this is what's so beautiful. The guy's over there making massive trade deals, and he's opening up a brand new golf course. Here's Bricksuit 7 hours ago writing that no pressure, just the first tee shot ever on your new golf course with the world press watching. President Trump drives it over 290 yards down the middle of the fairway. Watch. Boom! Yeah, baby.
Well done.
Yeah. There he is. Let's watch that. I want to see this. I want to see his swing.
The 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Let's go, baby. Any golfers out there watching right now? I try to golf. Boom! Look at that swing. Beautiful swing. Beautiful swing. Yeah. That is the boss right there. Now, there is some controversy that has been circulating with President Trump. Winnipeg handshake 2 days ago writes, never trust a man that cheats at golf. Trump's caddy caught dropping a ball for him. And then, of course, dropping some nasty remarks. But, okay, so you watch this. I want you to watch this, see what's going on here.
Soccer.
Oh, what's that? Did you see that?
Soccer.
The caddy right there dropping a ball. And everyone's saying that President Trump is cheating. But is he really cheating? Well, according to USGA rules, Rule 14, a caddy may drop a ball if authorized by the player, but it must be from knee height in a designated relief area after declaring relief for an unplayable ball. The video shows a surreptitious drop without apparent procedure, which violates rules on proper dropping and could be playing from a wrong place, thus cheating, incurring penalties, or disqualification for misconduct. So, was he actually cheating there? I don't know. You guys be the judge. You going to give him a mulligan or not? I don't know. I'll give the guy a mulligan. Okay. So President Trump enjoying the day at his new golf club.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No, give me those bagpipes any day of the week. Man, they just hit you. They hit you right here. Okay? Every time I hear it. The man walking out to the bagpipes on his brand new golf course. Beautiful moment to witness. And shortly thereafter, he actually had to cut this short, his trip there, because he had to put out fires back home. I'm told by sources inside the White House that he had to leave emergency and to get back to Washington, D.C. I'm told that he had to stop another war. That's what I was told. So President Trump there, just after securing a massive EU trade deal. Here's President Trump, though, mocking President Biden just a couple hours ago on Air Force One after he departed, that his golf swing in Scotland was strong. Listen to this.
Did you get to see my drive in the first hole?
You hit it straight pretty hard.
Pretty long. Pretty long. That's no Joe Biden, let me tell you. That's not Biden, right? That was a good drive. Did you get to see my drive in the first hole?
You hit it straight pretty hard.
Pretty long.
Oh, yeah. I have friends there who are on that trip, and that's all I could say about that. Now, this person being critical to the person who posted that about President Trump cheating, you expose yourself as an unsophisticated moron. We know you have never been on a golf course, so get yourself a little book called Rules of Golf, published by USGA and RA. Learn to read, and then read the book, try to concentrate. Read the part about taking a drop, then shut your mouth. Okay, so here is President Trump, Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative giving an update from Stockholm following the latest round of trade talks with China.
Built on Geneva, Stockholm, built on London and Geneva. I think we had great momentum going into the meeting thanks to the president's trade deals. I think that the Chinese were surprised by the magnitude of the Japan deal, by the magnitude and the terms of the European deal. So I think that they're never compliant, but I believe that they were in more of a mood for a wide-ranging discussion.
You know what that is, folks? That's called the art of the deal on the global stage.
The discussion centered on the two economies. We had a very in-depth report on them, on the Chinese economy. We gave a very detailed report on the U.S. economy. We talked about the trade deals that we were doing with other countries. We expressed our concern about Chinese overcapacity globally and what that might mean for this year, for the next few years. We expressed our concern for their purchases of sanctioned Iranian oil, of which they buy about 90%. We also expressed our regret that we believe that they had sold Russia about $15 billion of dual-use technologies. But the overall tone of the meetings was very constructive, and I will pass it over to Ambassador Greer.
Okay, so China, negotiations still happening. President Trump also, check this out. This is from a podcast he did. Talking about, I'm just shifting gears here. Talking about having a ballroom at the White House. Listen to this.
For UK, in the White House, as you know, for 150 years, they've wanted to have a ballroom. They don't have a ballroom. They have meeting rooms. They have those beautiful, you've interviewed me in those rooms.
Yes.
But they have beautiful meeting rooms, but they never had a ballroom. A ballroom meaning someplace they could sit 600 or 700 people.
Yes.
If the president of China or France or UK or Ursula comes to town, you give them a big state dinner. We don't have a room like that. At the White House, they have to use a tent. And if it's raining, it's soaking wet, soggy. The area is a very low area. All the water rushes to it. And it's a disaster. So I said, you know, if I win this second term, I'm going to build a ballroom, beautiful ballroom for the White House. And we actually have a really beauty, but that's a beauty right there. I said I could take that right now and
it's enormous. 8 chandeliers.
It's a beautiful room, and it's a very successful room. And they need that at the White House. You know, they can't do the kind of things that they'd like to do. Their big room, which is really a beautiful reception room, but not as a ballroom.
So how long will it take to finish that ballroom?
So we'll start in 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, and we'll have it completed in less than 2 years.
Wow.
It's a very incredible structure. I mean, a lot of it's the interior work. It's going to be beautiful. I'd rather, because normally I could build a building like that in 4 or 5 months. but it's very intricate inside. It's beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
The best marbles. It'll be a great tribute to the White House. It's going to be something. But they've wanted it for 150 years. And other presidents have talked about it, but it never got done.
Oh, you're the builder, the first builder.
I'm the builder.
Yeah.
I know how to do it. In the White House.
Imagine that's going to be absolutely beautiful. President Trump creating a ballroom. Okay, so President Trump, here's the big one. President Trump returning home from Scotland with $1 trillion. And now he wants to share the wealth with 600 stimulus checks for everyone. Jesse Waters right. Europe says daddy ate them for breakfast. Move over $1 million man. Trump is the $1 trillion man now. Listen to this.
How lopsided. Trump went to Scotland and came home today with $1 trillion.
It is the biggest deal ever made, I guess you could say. It's certainly the biggest trade deal ever made. You know, they're buying $750 billion worth of our energy. You know, they're going to invest $600 or $650 billion into the United States, and they're going to invest probably $300 billion for the military, maybe $400 billion in military equipment separately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a massive deal for everybody.
Europe's our biggest trading partner, and Trump just opened up the whole continent to American companies, protected our steel industries, and made them buy over $1 trillion of our stuff. Then he capped it off with some golf.
Please welcome onto the tee the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump cut the ribbon on his brand new golf course in Aberdeen, but something happened on 18.
You were playing golf, weren't you, on this beautiful golf course in Western Scotland? And what happened at the 18th hole?
Well, I'm looking down the 18th hole, and I'm looking down, and in the distance, and it's a pretty far distance, but it doesn't matter. These things are massive, and you're looking at these ugly windmills. It's a con job saying the environmentalists want it, because I can't believe they really want it. Kills the birds, ruins the look. They're noisy. If you see them from your house is worth like 50% or more less.
He was crushing drives and Europeans all weekend, and even had time to go take a spin in Golf Force One. It's a new Secret Service golf cart, and Primetime is trying to find out what's in it. The nuclear football, snipers, armored caddies. We'll let you know. After 4 years of Biden, Democrats can't believe how much Trump's coming back with. Chuck says the deal is too good to be true.
Trump would have you believe it's the biggest deal ever. That's his words. Dangling $250 billion of new energy purchases and more in new investments. There's just one hiccup. It's fake.
Schumer's a trade deal denier. Even the Europeans admitted they got smoked.
What are the U.S. concessions? What is the U.S. giving up in the deal, if anything?
So the starting point was an imbalance, a surplus on our side and a deficit on the U.S. side. And we wanted to rebalance the trade relation. I think we hit exactly the point we wanted to find.
Europe just admitted the U.S. didn't concede a single thing. We gave up nothing and got everything. And now Brussels is beating itself up over how lopsided this deal was. They say there's no hiding the fact that the EU was rolled over by the Trump juggernaut. Trump worked out exactly where our pain threshold is. Hungary says Trump ate Ursula for breakfast. We suspected this would happen as the U.S. president's a heavyweight when it comes to negotiations, while Madam President is a featherweight. Hillary, Mamala, and now Ursula. He's 3-0 against women. Belgium says it's scandalous how badly Europe negotiated this deal, and the French call it an outright surrender. And France would know. MSNBC actually was annoyed that Europe didn't win.
It's a moment when the EU could have played with him a little bit, cat and mouse a little bit. They had more leverage than, giving in this quickly and easily, I think.
Remember how they said Trump was a taco president, a.k.a. Trump always chickens out? Well, the world chickened out. Europe called him daddy, and daddy just gave him a spanking. And now
daddy just gave him a spanking. Oh, man, President Trump bringing home the bacon. Crybaby alert. Bill Maher stops crying long enough to admit Trump was right. Somewhere between a smug eye roll and his third shot of Don Julio, Bill Maher finally cracked. He's crying because the economy didn't collapse. The one Trump wasn't supposed to keep afloat, the one Bill swore would crash and burn under tariffs, but instead the market's soaring, jobs didn't vanish, and Bill's left whispering, I gotta own it. Listen.
Now, people were saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's...
Okay, so, yeah, Bill, it's because that's what the media was pushing down everyone's throats and trying to scare everybody. Okay, and apparently you bought it.
Boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive.
He's slurring a little bit there.
Around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Yeah, that's the fact. At least he is owning up to that reality that he was hoodwinked. Here's more from that Chuck Schumer, his tears on the Senate floor over President Trump's massive trade deal. Donald Trump is, as usual, trying to hype up, exaggerate, and lie about his accomplishments.
Families pay. Over the weekend, Donald Trump announced a new trade deal with the European Union. It will result in a $90 billion per year tax hike on American families. When you raise tariffs, the American families pay for it. $90 billion tax on American families.
Okay, Chuck, get some Kleenex out, dry your eyes for a minute, and maybe you should go watch what Bill Maher just said. Okay, about the tariffs tanking the economy. I mean, these guys, Chuck Schumer here, is still saying it's going to tank the economy. Yeah.
In this tariff deal with the European Union, Donald Trump is, as usual, trying to hype up, exaggerate, and lie about his accomplishments. Donald Trump always lies, almost always lies about his accomplishments, and this is no exception.
He's reading from his notes. He couldn't even figure out the next word on the page without turning it. Okay, Chuck, maybe you need to get better speech writers. Okay, Iowa agriculture expert says a new deal with the European Union is a big step in the right direction.
But Iowa ag experts say
the EU is one of our major trading partners.
A new deal with the European Union is a big step in the right direction. Iowa State University economist Chad Hart says that's because it doesn't add any new tariffs on U.S. goods.
It's a major coup right there alone, because typically if you want to raise a tariff on a country, they will typically raise right back on you. And that's not what we're seeing in these trade frameworks that are being announced by the president.
But Iowa
President Trump winning all day long. Here's Kevin O'Leary. Love this guy, saying, Mr. Wonderful, just said that as a result of Trump's home run EU trade deal, major manufacturing facilities will move to the United States now.
Huge to them. For them already, the French and the German are whining this morning about this deal, or this potential deal. But the only reason they care is pharmaceuticals and automotive. We are so huge to them in those sectors, so huge, so massive, so important that they have to come to the table. And, this is a big deal. And so that's why you're hearing, oh, yeah, well, that's $500 billion here and all that. They're going to move these pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities to the U.S. because this is their market. And so Trump's getting that win. But I don't think we're done yet. I mean, the EU is it's the biggest deal there is.
You're making the case that the headwinds will come from the other EU partners.
against this deal?
I'm saying the headwinds are in the details. You know, already they want protections against things like automotive on their direction. We don't sell many cars. Nobody's buying a Ford 150 truck in Switzerland or, you know, in France. You can't fit them on the street, let alone your driveway. So,
But isn't this the problem with the EU fundamentally? Is that a handful of people make decisions in Brussels that affect all the countries?
For them already, the French and the German are
pretty much the problem there. So, big wins for President Trump, from the golf course to the EU to returning home on an emergency trip to stop another war. If you got value from this report, subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what winning looks like. $750 billion in energy purchases, $600 billion in corporate investment, manufacturing flooding back into American soil. The EU didn't just blink, they surrendered. For decades, we've watched American jobs disappear overseas while politicians made excuses. And Trump just reversed 40 years of globalist wealth transfer in one masterful deal. Even Kevin O'Leary admits pharmaceutical and automotive giants are packing up and coming home. The experts said tariffs would destroy us. Instead, we are collecting tribute like ancient Rome. Iowa farmers celebrating, Wall Street's admitting defeat, and Chuck Schumer's having a nervous breakdown. This isn't just economics. It's the restoration of American dominance. So here's my question for you. Is Trump the greatest negotiator to ever occupy the White House? Drop a yes or no in the comments. And what do you think about this new White House ballroom that he's about to make? Oh, that's going to be beautiful. And make sure you grab some American Badass merch to celebrate this historic victory. Pick your favorite member of the administration, or you can help us expose President Otto Penn, or support that all-inclusive resort down in Florida, Alligator Alcatraz. Okay, we got some super chats come through. Sparky. Gary, isn't treason just for during a declared war? Wouldn't sedition be the proper charge? I have argued that myself. Treason is about giving aid and comfort to the enemy, defying the enemy. So I think sedition is probably better. You know, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard's throwing around the treason word. You know, is that correct? I mean, she is the DNI. She is in the administration. Maybe she knows better. Maybe she's seen something. I don't know. But I do agree with that question. And Country First says, good show, Gary. Good show. Thank you very much. And Sue Studio is back. Hi, Gary. All right. Yes, the salt must flow, as they say. All right, let's get a look at the answer to that question. And let's see. We'd fight together. Yes, that's what I said. Oh, you guys didn't say that. But I said it. Yeah. All right. We'd fight together. Reagan allegedly told Gorbachev aliens would unite us against them. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next topic and our next trivia question, because we need to talk about this. Certainly need to talk about this. What did New York City Mayor Ed Koch famously ask New Yorkers in the 1970s? A, can you spare change? B, how am I doing? C, where's the B for D, got milk? I don't know. You guys have an answer? Drop it in the chat, comment, or the poll, and we're going to get to our next topic. Blood on the streets of Manhattan, and CNN's First Instinct lie about the shooter's race. They called him possibly white when photos clearly showed Shane Tamura, a dark-skinned man with an afro. So why would they do that? Well, because the truth destroys their narrative. A private investigator driving cross-country with a grudge against the NFL takes the wrong elevator, opens fire, and suddenly we've got bodies, wounded cops, and a media cover-up in real time. This is not just about one shooting. It's about a system so broken, so corrupt that even tragedy becomes propaganda. The facts they're hiding will shock you, so stay locked in. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risk onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, simple, and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit. Discover how to safeguard your savings. And open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins absolutely free. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone. Or call that number on the screen right there, 877-646-5347. And when you talk to Colin, tell him Gary said hello. Oh, CNN up to their old tricks. And the memes write themselves now. CNN, the most trusted name in news. Yeah, did you see this one yet? Let me bring it up for you so you can see clearly. CNN, the most trusted name in news. Yeah, here is your white suspect. Here is your Maryland dad. Here's the moment that Trump fell on stage in Butler, and that guy down there, sharp as a tack. Yeah, that is what passes for news over at CNN. And people are rightly outraged. Sassafras writes, CNN, you are trash. Total trash, propaganda, probably white. Y'all would give anything to have this be a white Trump supporter shooting people. Only Democrats shoot people. That's the agenda, especially deranged ones screaming free Palestine. It's always a Democrat committing violence against Americans. I'm so sick of it. And here is the alleged shooter's Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department concealed firearms permit that is now circulating online. CNN ratings, Western Journal writes, CNN ratings are buried beneath the basement, and Monday's coverage of a deadly shooting in New York shows precisely why. A man walked into a Midtown Manhattan high-rise, opened fire. Name was Shane Devon Tamira, and police announced that quickly. CNN accused of purposely lying about the Manhattan shooter. It's almost like they have an agenda, you think, right? Here's Armstrong Williams. A devastating shooting occurred in New York City, leaving 4 dead, including a police officer. CNN anchor Aaron Burnett stated live on the air that the obviously not white man, quote, was possibly white, embarrassing attempt to politicize the tragedy. Let's lock in here.
A devastating shooting occurred in New York City, leaving 4 dead, including a police officer. The man was discovered to be a mentally ill Las Vegas resident who had entered the lobby of a skyscraper with an M4 rifle. The shooter shot himself after his reign of terror was over. CNN anchor Aaron Burnett stated live on the air that the obviously not white man, quote, was possibly white. How ridiculous, embarrassing to attempt to politicize this tragedy. So if they were not white, it would have made better. If they were white, it would have made better for your headlines. Does it surprise you that in the most anti-gun city in America, someone was just able to do this? The first person who was shot was the lone armed police officer in the building, meaning that everyone else was absolutely defenseless against the shooter because they can't get guns. Makes you think just how tragic the consequences can be of mental illness and strict gun laws. Those officers who remain on the job are overworked, and it is a very difficult time to be a cop. And it's an even more difficult time to lead cops. The seas these days are anything but calm. In some places, the waters are just downright angry. But those police officers who hold the helm must keep the ship righted, its crew safe and well cared for, and working together to move the vessel steadily on in the desired direction. The seas will calm once again, but for now, the sailing is going to be difficult. We must pray for our law enforcement, because when they're taken out, you become defenseless and just an easy target. I'm Armstrong Williams, live from the U.S. Capitol grounds.
Well said. Well said. Armstrong Williams, Baltimore Sun owner, broadcast owner, philanthropist, America First. Watch the Armstrong Williams Show. WJLA 24/7 News, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturdays. Well said, Armstrong Williams. And here we have this post from Gunther Eagleman. Everyone meet John Miller, CNN. He is a CNN guest who initially claimed that the suspect in yesterday's shooting was most likely white. CNN is not only stupid, they are dangerous. During a search, CNN egregiously decided to throw possibly white into the description of the black man police were looking for.
Male, possibly white. Among them that they did get, they do know what he looks like. Sunglasses, mustache, male, possibly white. And
that's Aaron Burnett stating it. Now, here is more. Media research Center posting last night, fake news. CNN tried claiming the shooter was possibly white, despite a photograph of the suspect clearly showing darker-skinned man with an afro.
Story building.
At any given time.
All right, so
it's Brian Stelter. What do you know? they put him back on CNN, but now with his own show, of course.
At any given time.
All right. So, Brian, stay with us. The former deputy director of the FBI, Andy McCabe, is with us as well. And Andy, I just want to ask you talk about a 44-story building, as Brian is reporting. And what John Miller just said, there were a few things that really stood out there. Among them that they do know what he looks like. Sunglasses, mustache, male, possibly white, and that they were already able to identify various parts of the building where they think he is right now from 911 calls and also possibly a video on those elevators, that they were able to move that quickly. And John said they're focused on various floors in the upper parts of the building. Now we don't know his status right now, if that's going to end up being where he is, but they have moved incredibly quickly.
They really have. And
okay, McCabe, we're going to cut you off right there. I don't want to give you any airtime. But of course, CNN pushing the narrative, possibly white, huh? Of course, that only furthers their agenda because they want it to be a white person. Okay, they want it to be a MAGA person. They want to scream white supremacy is on every rooftop, right? Breaking 911 writes about 13 hours ago, he was targeting NFL. Mayor Eric Adams says the Midtown Manhattan shooter was targeting NFL headquarters at 345 Park Avenue, but took the wrong elevator.
Now, with more on the investigation, Mayor Adams, thank you so much. Our condolences to everyone who was affected yesterday, their families, the people who work in those buildings. What new information do you have for us this morning, Mayor?
Thank you for having me and really pointing out this horrific incident. We had 6 people who were shot, one being the suspect. As you indicated, he turned the gun on himself and shot himself in the chest. He appeared to have some history, mental health history, from what we're getting from our partners in the Nevada, Las Vegas area. But it's just a real unfortunate situation. The suspect walked into the building 345 Park Avenue carrying in his right hand an automatic weapon, immediately discharged rounds, shot a police officer, Officer Islam, a 3-year veteran with 2 children, and his wife is expecting a child on the way. And again, our hearts goes out to the entire city in general, but specifically the men and women of the NYPD and Officer Islam's family.
Yes, we agree with you and send our condolences as well. Tell us about the apparent suicide note that was in the shooter's pocket.
He alluded to having CTE from playing in the NFL. He never played in the NFL. And he alluded to the CTE being the reason for his illness. It appears as though he was going after the employees at the NFL. The building 345 housed the NFL's company there as well. But we're still going through the suicide note to zero in on the exact reason, but at this time it appears as though something that is attached to his belief he experienced CTE from playing in the NFL.
And so
that is the delusional manifestation of the alleged shooter. Private investigator in Las Vegas, Nevada, arrives in New York City in a BMW. Note said angry at NFL. NFL was targeted but took the wrong elevator. NYPD commissioner provides detailed timeline of NYC shooting.
What happened next is under an active investigation and details are still coming in, but here's what we know so far. Surveillance video shows a male exit a double-parked black BMW on Park Avenue between 51st and 52nd Streets, carrying an M4 rifle in his right hand. He walks towards the building's entrance. That individual was seen exiting the BMW alone. The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard who was taking cover behind the security desk. One additional male is shot in the lobby, per his own statement from the hospital. The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator, and he allows her to walk past him unharmed. He goes up to the 33rd floor, which is Rubin management, and begins to walk the floor, firing rounds as he traveled. One person was struck and killed on that floor. He then proceeds down a hallway and shoots himself in the chest. In total, we have 5.
Okay. Yeah, Brian, take note. We need to cut that last part. We don't need to have any issues with YouTube. Okay? So here we have footage of the police carrying a body from the scene. Here's the original footage of the Midtown Manhattan near East 52nd Street. People panicking, as you can see. And then here it is. Here's the picture. CNN described this Midtown Manhattan shooter as a male, possibly white. Clearly not. President Trump was immediately briefed on the shooting. He says, "It took place in Manhattan, a place I know too well. I trust our law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of what this crazed lunatic committed. Such an act of violence. My heart is with the families of the 4 people who were killed, including the NYPD officer who made the ultimate sacrifice. God bless the New York Police Department, and God bless New York." And, of course, right on cue, in the wake of yesterday's shooting, the New York Governor, Kathy Hochul, just went on CNN to piggyback on the importance of gun control.
But Governor, even when Joe Biden was president and Democrats controlled Congress, your party did not pass a ban on semi-automatic rifles, even in the wake of really horrific mass shootings like this one. So what makes you think that anything would be different now? And do you fault your own party for not acting on this when you were in charge?
I'm looking for political courage. I'm looking for people to stand up for the people of this nation and say enough is enough. How much more slaughter do we have to endure because of these assault weapons? We had this happen in my hometown of Buffalo in 2022. You remember 10 people shopping at a Tops grocery store in a black part of our city. This individual targeted them, a white supremacist, because of the color of their skin. They were slaughtered, gunned down with the same kind of weapon. We sprung into action. We made sure that our laws were tougher and tighter, and we're doing much more to keep people safe in the state of New York. But I don't want to be having my residents affected by someone coming from another state who could easily get their hands on this assault weapon, travel across multiple states, and do what they did just yesterday. So I want to be able to protect New Yorkers. It's my #1 priority. And it's hard to do it when other states aren't stepping up, and certainly Congress has let us down.
But Congress has let us down. Unbelievable. If you got value from this support, if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is journalism in 2025. See a shooter, check his race, lie if necessary. CNN looked at clear photos of Shane Tamara and called him possibly white. Why? Because a dark-skinned shooter with an afro doesn't help them push the gun control narrative on white conservatives. The real story is even worse. A known unstable man traveled across state lines with weapons. His associate bought gun parts. He left a manifesto about the NFL, and nobody stopped him. Yet Hochul rushes to CNN to demand laws her own party refuses to pass. They don't want solutions. They want control. And they'll stand on bodies to grab your guns while ignoring the actual system failures that enabled this tragedy. So here's my question. Is CNN race baiting about shooters worse than their gun-grabbing agenda? Answer below. Make sure you check out our merch shop, real news for real patriots, real gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, no super chats to speak of MSNBC, The Voice, losing to stay stuck in bullshit. Hi, N3 fam. Pray for Roger Stone's grandson in Hawaii. Oh, my. Earthquake update. Do we have an earthquake update? Yes, I'll check in that right now. Thank you for reminding me. We have any new news? Nothing in the folder. Let's check the main feed real quick here to see if there's anything. Okay, we do have a simulation that has just been published. The simulation conducted by Tohoku University shows how the tsunami propagates across the Earth's surface. Japan used as an example of earthquake and tsunami epicenter. It gives you the good indication of how long before it reaches California and South America. So you can see here, I'll start from the beginning. Japan is the example of the epicenter. You can see the shock waves traveling across the Pacific and going across the islands, Hawaii, right there, you can see it, all the way to the coast, west coast of the United States, and then down all the way to South America. Now, of course, this earthquake originated in Russia. So this is not an exact model, but it does give you an idea. Here's some more video of the earthquake.
Ого! Охуеть! Нихуя! Иди сюда! А не видно, как трясется. Марина! Марина, выходи! Ого! Твою мать! Вот это да! Откуда летит? Блядь! Все 10! Офигеть! Окна слетели аж. Ни хрена себе! Все трясется.
I mean, look at these cars. Look at these cars just shaking. Hawaii, let's see. Oprah's private road from Wailea to Kula is shut. The route could help coastal residents escape to higher ground fast, but it's closed. Hawaii is under tsunami warning. Why block an evacuation path? So apparently, Oprah has quite a compound there 26 minutes ago, and her private road is shut down and could have enabled an escape route, but it is closed. Because, of course, Oprah needs her privacy. 6 minutes ago, this just in. Catastrophic tsunami damage has occurred in Russia following the massive earthquake, which also is expected to send tsunami waves to Hawaii. This is drone footage revealing severe damage following the 8.8 upgraded earthquake. Here's the drone footage. Oh my goodness. This is devastating. Wow. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more visuals like this throughout the evening. 33 minutes ago, National Weather Service in Grand Forks, North Dakota, said to clarify there is not expected to be any impacts to North Dakota from a potential tsunami in the Pacific Ocean. First tsunami waves beginning to break along the coast of Hokkaido, Japan. So helicopter footage is showing up now. Donald Trump putting out a post warning of the tsunami. Please pray for Hawaii. He says, due to massive earthquake that occurred in the Pacific Ocean, a tsunami warning is in effect for those living in Hawaii. Tsunami watch is in effect for Alaska and Pacific coast of the United States. Japan also in the way. Please visit tsunami.gov for the latest information. Stay strong and safe. Okay, let's get the answer to our trivia question. The answer was B, how am I doing? And what did you guys say? You said, how am I doing? Well done. His signature phrase, unlike today's New York City leaders who don't care. How am I doing? Okay, we're going to move into something a little bit lighter now and a little bit prettier than some of the news we've been covering lately. And it's definitely making a lot of waves and making liberals very uncomfortable. Yes, all those purple-haired liberals who are screaming at the sky when President Trump won, they are now absolutely triggered by a young woman's jeans. But first, a question. What 1980s jeans ad company was banned from TV for being too suggestive? Was it A, Jordash's horse rides, B, Calvin Klein's Brooke Shields, C, Levi's 501 Blues, or D, Guess's black and white photos? I'm going to go with D on this one. If I recall, Guess had some pretty risque ads back in the day. So I think we'll see what you guys say in the poll, in the comments, and in the chat. They're crying. They are literally crying over jeans. A woman filmed herself in tears, begging the good whites to take action because Sydney Sweeney wore denim. They called it fascist propaganda, eugenics, white supremacy, all because a blonde woman smiled in an American Eagle ad in some tight jeans. But here's what happened next. The stock exploded, 25%. The jeans sold out nationwide, and normal Americans just proved the woke mob has lost its mind. It's not about pants, folks. This is about a culture war where one side thinks that beauty is violence and success is oppression. The meltdown is real. The tears are flowing. The memes are spicy. And capitalism just won. Wait till you see the insanity we've got for you in this report. And while liberals melt down over Sydney Sweeney's fitness, most guys struggle with their own. They think testosterone drops from aging or genetics, but the real killer is something you eat daily, something they call healthy. This one food devastates testosterone, drains energy, crushes motivation. It's not junk food or sugar. It's unexpected. Sculpt Nation discovered men who cut this one thing transformed completely, building muscle, burning fat, feeling energized. Their video reveals exactly what this testosterone-killing food is. So head to sculptnation.com/NNN or click below. One simple dietary change could unlock your body's true potential. You don't want to miss this. Okay, so the memes are certainly spicy in this report. Check this out. Mark's safe from not being offended by a simple blue jeans commercial. Yeah, everyone is triggered. Well, we've got all of that. Wait till you see some of the stuff here. Oh, yeah, and if you like this photo, you're a Nazi. Yeah, that's what they're saying now. But this is brave. Yeah, here's the memes. The AI memes are just spicy, spicy, spicy. Oh, it's always in the eyes, right? Always in the eyes. We're going to get her remarks in a second. So basically, Sydney Sweeney has been facing backlash for her American Eagle campaign. Critics argue that it degrades women, has alleged racial undertones, over-sexualization, lack of diversity, and being a right-wing dog whistle, with some calling it forced. Oh, here's another one. Oh, we're gonna dine on her tears in just a moment. This is the new ad, but I mean, listen to
And why did American Eagle hire a young white woman with perfect breasts to do their jeans commercial? Why not a fat black woman? Huh? Why not hire a 400-pound Shamika with a perm, twerking, maybe eating some fried chicken or something? Why not hire that fat bitch? And what?
Okay, yes, of course. That was a AI-generated video. I need to put that disclaimer out there for anyone who might believe that's real. That did not, in fact, happen. Cory Booker just, freaking out on the Senate floor. But there's other memes that are just as spicy, just like this one.
Jeans.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Those jeans.
And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
If you believe in jeans, some do, some don't.
Or that they make your butt look amazing.
A lot of it's about the jeans, isn't it? Don't you believe?
Why would I need to do that?
Tell me about jeans.
But if you said that you want to buy the jeans,
It's good jeans. You have good jeans.
I'm not going to stop you.
Really fantastic jeans.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring,
Gotta have like the best jeans in the world.
often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color.
You have good jeans, you know that, right? You have good jeans.
My jeans are blue.
And if you believe in jeans, you gotta go with those jeans. You can't get any better.
Sydney Sweeney has her jeans.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American.
Oh, yeah. So obviously someone clipped together some Donald Trump clips. So what is this triggered liberal screaming about here? Yes, the eyes. It's always in the eyes.
At critical thinking. Someone who grew up in a very rural.
Wait, what's that in her nose? Oh, it's not a booger. It's a nose ring.
Appalachian. Someone who grew up in a very rural Appalachian town and wanted to escape all of the sentiments that entails. This Sydney Sweeney commercial is so embarrassing. Unfortunately, you can't argue with people who tout those beliefs because they lack critical thinking skills. So I think we should just start shaming them instead. You are an embarrassment, Sydney Sweeney. Go back to school or do some ayahuasca or something because that brain ain't braining too well, is it, girl? Someone who grew up in a very rural...
Yeah, I have a feeling she's very jealous of Sydney Sweeney. Okay, so here we have another one. A woman breaking down in tears after watching Sydney Sweeney's new American Eagle ad, urging that it's time for the good whites to finally take action.
And I feel like they'll be like, oh, yeah, that got me too. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's just so blatant. I keep thinking that people just are not going to believe us until we're hung out there. But then even then, I feel like they'll be like, oh, no. Kind of like they are with. I see the same perpetual self-imposed victimhood. You know, I did a post about saying, hey, like, these are the action steps that we really need to see from the good whites. Where I said, I need protection. Put my cash out. And she goes, well, would you just rather white women just not follow you at all anymore because da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, definitely unfollow me. If you thought you being here and clicking a follow button was doing me a favor, same as that one guy, whatever his name was, descendant of the oppressor. He's like, well, Lindsay still does a good job and I appreciate her work and labor, so I'm going to still follow her. No, definitely unfollow me.
Yeah, so make sure you've unfollowed her if you happen to have ended up on her news feed. Okay. Oh, so this is a great one. MAGA Resource posting this. Which advertising campaign do you prefer? The Sydney Sweeney campaign? Or the Bud Light campaign? Who will ever forget that? Disaster. Oh, yes. Now check this out. American Eagle has sold out of their good jeans. Once again, the woke left's outlandish attacks have backfired. Here is Brylan Hollyhand, Fox News Digital.
Just how fragile. The best part of this is Sydney Sweeney didn't even say a word, and she still triggered the entire left. She didn't give a political speech. She didn't put on a MAGA hat. She didn't attend a Trump rally. All she did was promote a jean brand and have an American flag, and that right there proves just how fragile wokeness has become today. I mean, the American flag being controversial to some people. To some people, flying the pride flags outside of our federal buildings is a little controversial, yet we don't have people uproar over that. It's a crazy concept to just see just how fragile and emotional they've become. And that's why they've scared off young men. They're doing this whole study, spending millions and millions of dollars at the DNC right now of how did we lose young men last election? I can tell you it's stuff like this. So first of all, not just wanting to embrace Sydney Sweeney as a campaign, but second, attacking her for being pro-American. It's an odd concept, Will.
How dare they attack her? Sydney Sweeney. Oh, boy. So here we have Douglas Mackey. Stocks up 25%. American Eagle's betting they can sell jeans to normal people, not tiny minorities of deranged harpies. American Eagle, look at that skyrocketing stock. It's amazing what a beautiful woman in a pair of jeans can do. And then, of course, all the media that surrounds it only amplifies the campaign. They right here, Newsweek writes that the campaign's pun isn't just tone deaf, it's historically loaded. Professor Robin Landa told Newsweek, calling this tone deaf, unreal. Xavier Du Rousseau, as a proud black man, I see nothing wrong with Sydney Sweeney, an American Eagle parading her good genes. Celebrating blue eyes and blonde hair isn't white supremacy. Those are conventionally attractive good genes. That doesn't mean they're the only good genes.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. Okay, what else have we got here? A little bit of some lighter news for you. Do the angry Tara Servatius writes, do the angry liberal women losing their minds over this realize half the ads in the 80s and 90s look just like it? Over heterosexuality, it was still allowed back then. Another writes, time to grab another pair of jeans from American Eagle just to piss off the fat, angry liberal women who haven't seen their waistline since Obama's first term. Sorry, not sorry. Some of us still believe in hard work, looking good, and not blaming society for everything. Okay. Rock those hips, girl. And gotta love that Mustang. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nothing like beautiful women and fast cars. Okay? Oh, yeah. Here we have it. Again, the eyes have it. A new level of stupid is happening. Here's another triggered liberal freaking out.
Don't forget to boycott American Eagle for their racist shit online, talking about blue jeans and white people. Boycott American Eagle. Boycott the shit out of them. Boycott American Eagle. Do not buy them. And cancel this person, Miss Sweeney. Cancel for her being racist, for doing Nazi propaganda. Cancel American Eagle.
Yeah, another jealous harpy. Notice that she's a brunette that needs to go see someone about those eyebrows of hers. Oh, man, there's a million of these. I mean, oh, what's this? Okay, here's the full reaction. Let's take a look here.
Sydney Sweeney.
Determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color.
Now, I just want to point out that what you are witnessing, if you may be listening to this and not actually watching, this is a clip of a young black man who is apparently enjoying this ad while he sips on a beverage.
Determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
Only unfortunate-looking women and gay men who want to be women are hating on Sydney Sweeney. Now walk with me.
Uh-oh.
Hot white people, this is your sign to stop being ashamed of your Caucasian excellence. Liberals are losing their minds because Sydney Sweeney isn't ashamed to be a blonde, blue-eyed white woman. The American Eagle ad is not fascist. It just shows...
Okay, so I want to kind of backtrack for a second. I don't think he was enjoying that. It clearly appears that he may enjoy the opposite gender of Sydney Sweeney. So, just to clarify my earlier remarks,
ashamed of your Caucasian excellence. Liberals are losing their minds because Sydney Sweeney isn't ashamed to be a blonde, blue-eyed white woman. The American Eagle ad is not fascist. It just shows that the high BMI positivity movement is over. I don't need to see every skin tone, gender identity, and weight class in order to buy a product. I want to see hot people, and Sydney's denim jeans rack is uniting our country. Notice how no one hotter or more successful than you is concerned about what you wear, do, or look like? Exactly. Hot people get it, and we've all been wronged by unfortunate looking people.
In determining traits like hair color, personality.
Okay, what's this? Whatever you do, I meme, therefore I am. Whatever you do, do not, and I repeat, do not share Brooke Shields' Calvin Klein jeans ad from 1980. It might just send liberals over the edge. Calvin Klein's Brooke Shields, 1980.
Occasionally, the secret of life lies hidden in a genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. Occasionally, certain conditions produce a structural change in the gene, which will bring about the process of evolution. This may occur in one or more of the following ways. Firstly, by selective mating, in which a single gene type proves superior in transmitting its genes to future generations. Secondly, by gene drift, in which certain genes may fade away while other genes persist. And finally, by natural selection, which filters out those genes better equipped than others to endure in the environment. This may result in the origin of an entirely new species, which brings us to Calvin's and the survival of the fittest.
Calvin Klein jeans.
It's like American Eagle clearly took a cue from Calvin Klein back in the 1980s. I mean, the language is almost identical. Okay, so here's another one that's triggered.
Sweeney collaboration. If you need help understanding the controversy behind the American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney collaboration, I got you. In order to understand what makes it controversial, we need to understand what makes Sydney Sweeney's jeans so great. Is it that they're blue? Or is it that these American popularized style of pants are being worn by a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, as she is being considered a sex symbol and sexualized all throughout the commercials? Very subtly, the homophone of jeans.
Yeah. Nobody's sexualizing you, honey. I'm going to leave it right there. If you got value for this report, tab subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is clearly peak insanity. Sydney Sweeney wears jeans. Liberals declare it's genocide. A professor called good genes historically loaded. A trauma surgeon labeled it scientifically inaccurate. A woman sobbed on camera, warning over lynchings, over denim. But reality hit back hard, stock up 25%, 400 million in market cap added, jeans completely sold out. The black commentator Javier de Rousseau destroying their narrative, pointing out celebrity beauty isn't supremacy. The woke mob expose themselves as bitter, broken people who see oppression in everything beautiful, successful, or normal. They've lost touch with reality so completely that attractive women in advertisements trigger mental breakdowns. The culture is shifting, and patriots are winning, and their tears are delicious. So here's my question. Should companies ignore woke mobs and just market to normal Americans? Give me a hell yes or absolutely. And maybe go out and get a pair of jeans for your wife. Comment below. And you can grab our merch. We don't have jeans, but we do have some pretty sweet stuff where you can trigger a liberal just as easily as Sydney Sweeney at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, Capo 801, 2 minutes ago. Love what you do, Gary. Dropping $10 in the jar right here. There it is. I wasn't putting money in the jar today. We got work to do. So every second counts. If you watched that, you were paying attention to that last segment, then you know the answer, and I hope you got it right, and you did. Calvin Klein's Brooke Shields was the answer. Nothing comes between me and my Calvins was just too hot for 1980. All right, we're going to check in on the latest with the tsunami situation, and then we're going to close out this show. Holy cow. Several whales have washed ashore in Tateyama city of Chiba Prefecture, Japan. Wow. Whales are now washing up. And now mass evacuations underway in Hawaii. Roads flooded with traffic as evacuations begin to higher ground. So say a prayer right now. It's all happening right on schedule, as we spoke about at the beginning of the show. Continuing here. New drone footage of the tsunami. We just played that. Here's footage. The moment the powerful 8.0, now 8.8 earthquake was detected by seismic sensors in Russia, with alarms blaring across monitoring stations. In response to the tsunami warning issue was made.
У нас ничего не получается. Рабочий процесс идет. А что у нас с этой стороны? Зашкаливается.
Wow, and the music in the background. Here's some women who have the best genes. Yes, I'm sure people are going to get triggered over that. You can't tell what's AI anymore these days, right? And what's real life. Tsunami alerts heard in Yokohama, Japan. Here's some more footage just coming in 26 minutes ago. Small tsunami wave seen surging up River Kujikuri Beach in the Chiba Prefecture of eastern Japan. Prefecture. Let's see if there's anything else here. 27 minutes ago, are you visiting the West Coast? Per NWS and NWS NTWC, estimated wave arrival times will begin at these times. This in 27 minutes ago. This is from Congressman Byron Donalds, speaking to his constituents who may be in the California West Coast area. 10:05 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Langara, British Columbia. 11:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Tofino, British Columbia. 11:35 p.m. Port Orford, Oregon. 11:35 La Push, Washington. 11:40 p.m. Nia Bay, Washington. And, wow, he's got it all here. Long Beach, 11:45, Charleston, Oregon. 11:45, Fort Bragg, California. 11:50. All the way, so Fort Bragg, Crescent City, Brookings, Westport, and Moclips, Washington, Oregon, California, 11:50. 5 minutes later, Seaside, Oregon, July 30th, just after the new day begins. 12:15, Monterey, California, and Port Angeles, Washington. 12:35, Port St. Louis, California. 12:40, San Francisco. 12:45, Santa Barbara. 12:45, Port Townsend, Washington. 1 a.m., Los Angeles Harbor, California. 1:10, Bellington, Washington. Also 1:10, Newport Beach, California. La Jolla, California, 1:10. Oceanside, California, 1:15 a.m. and Tacoma, Washington at 2 a.m. So if any of our viewers are in these areas, please take note immediately and seek higher ground just to be safe. So that is the show, folks. 5 stories that prove the world's flipping upside down, and We're the ones doing the flipping. We started with Obama's failed coup finally seeing daylight. Yes, the documents exist. Brennan's sweating bullets and the Russia hoax just transformed from conspiracy theory to criminal conspiracy. The deep state thought that they buried the evidence, but truth has a way of clawing back to the surface. Then Maxwell dropping the immunity bomb. She's ready to sing if Congress protects her, and suddenly every frequent flyer to Epstein Island needs new underwear. Then she says she's got the tapes of presidents and princes. Maybe we should believe her. The only question is whether Congress has the guts to give her that golden ticket. And Trump's trade victory? Absolute domination. $750 billion here, $600 billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. Yeah, the EU didn't negotiate, they capitulated. Manufacturing's coming home, jobs are flooding back, and Chuck Schumer's meltdown tells you everything about how historic this win really is. And then that New York City shooting exposed more than just violence. It exposed the media so corrupt that they will lie about a shooter's race before the bodies are even cold. CNN saw Shane Tamara and called him possibly white because dark-skinned shooters don't help their gun-grabbing narrative. Meanwhile, the system that should have stopped him failed at every level. And Sydney Sweeney, she broke the internet by wearing jeans. The woke mob called it fascism, but American Eagle stock said capitalism. $400 million in added value because normal Americans are sick of being told beauty is violence and success is oppression. So to everybody who sent in super chats and rumble rants, you are the real MVPs. You keep us going, you keep us honest, you keep us fighting. The show exists because you refuse to accept their lies. So tell a friend about the Raw feed. Text them the link after the show. Text them the link to the segments when they drop on the channel. If we're not on their radar, we are not doing our job. Make sure you hit our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, where your rebellion triggered their sensibilities and show the world that you are awake and activated. We'll be back tomorrow with more truth bombs, more liberal tears, and more winning that they can't handle. Because every day they lose control, every day their narrative crumbles, every day more Americans wake up to what's really happening. This is Gary Franchi reminding you. They fear us because we're effective. They hate us because we're growing. They panic because we're winning. So thank you for joining the Raw feed. Keep fighting, keep sharing, and keep pushing back. We'll see you next time. And remember, the truth always wins.